There's a pretty one, Ulysses. There it is.
Hello BookTube, I'm Sean the Book Maniac. Welcome back to my channel, and this is a video that I made last year and had a lot of fun with it over the year. So I'm doing it again for 2024. I'm filming this at the end of December, but it's going to go up early in January. So this is this year's version of if I don't read these books in 2024, I have to unhaul them. I was inspired by a video with that exact same title, with 2023 in the title, from Jack of Jack and the Books last year. Made my own video, and of 8 books that had been collecting dust, some of which I think I had moved from Canada to Japan, and then from Japan back to Canada, that I have to either read them, bail them, or get rid of them. I'm happy to report that I'm not going to give a full wrap-up of that thing. I don't really do wrap-ups for readathons or anything like that. It's just not my style. But if you've been following along, as Greg from Supposedly Fun would say, and I wouldn't blame you if you hadn't, but if you've been following along, I've wrapped those up, and I bailed on a handful, enjoyed a handful, and I'm still reading a handful. So that would be, what, 3 handfuls of 8 books that I'm going to continue. I'm not going to probably finish maybe one of those in the next few days, but probably not going to. I'm going to carry those over into 2024, and that's fine. But I have started them. I'm enjoying them, and all but one, and I can't find it now, but the only one I didn't get to, which I'm quite happy to unhaul, is that Christian fiction writer. What is her name? Marilynne Robinson, Housekeeping. That one I didn't get to, and I purposely didn't get to it really because she's just I don't read book. I like reading books by women writers, but church lady writers, not my style. I read one of hers, and it didn't go well. Apparently this is her most secular book, but no, it's going to be one of those writers I pride myself on never trying again. So that one's on hold, and I have a stack of 8 more for 2024. I don't think any of these are books that I moved from Canada to Japan and then back, but these are books that I acquired when I was in Japan that won't fit in on any readathon, which is, so that those are the ones I never get to. So I've got a stack of books that I'm really curious to try, and doing this video every year for the second time, I think it'll be a way to tackle it. So without further ado, here is, I think it's still his latest novel, Harry Kunzru's Red Pill. I bought it when it came out, and I've heard mixed reviews of it, but that's fine. I loved his White Tears, and that, on the strength of that, I got this. Quite lovely end papers, aren't they? And Harry Kunzru is a British writer of, I believe, Indian descent, or Indian origin. This novel was published in 2020, so it's not that old, but the premise is the Brooklyn writer leaves his young family to do a 3-month residency in Berlin. That's all I need to know. I don't really love the image on the cover. I mean, it doesn't necessarily encourage me that the story's going to be one I'm going to like, but I'm certainly going to give it a try. And here is an American, is it a 19th century novel? If not, it's early 20th century, by William Dean Howells. 1889, late 19th century, Hazard of New Fortunes by William Dean Howells. It's a chunky bugger, 500 pages or so. There's a conflict between a self-made millionaire and an idealistic reformer in turn of the 20th century New York. Really? Well, so I guess he said it in the future when he published it in 1889. Okay, well, I'll find out more about it. Here is a memoir from South Africa, Down 2nd Avenue, by Ezekiel Mphahlele. I believe he later changed his first name to Eskia, but I may be wrong about that. And I bought this kind of beat up used copy at a used bookstore in in Tokyo. It's time to get to it, my goodness. During the apartheid era, he was one of the preeminent black South African writers, and I believe he lived in exile and came back. This was first published in 1959. Quite looking forward to finally getting to this. This is a book that lots of people have talked about over the years, and I just have never gotten to it. I picked it up at a Japanese bookstore chain in Tokyo that were having a big sale on all their English language stock, and everything was $5, and that's where I got this brand new copy. A Short History of Tractors in Ukrainian by Marina Lewycka. I guess it was written in English, and it's about tractors in Ukraine. Here is a beautiful hardcover novel, and I can't for the life of me remember why I bought it, but I have kept it all these years. It was originally published in 2016, I think, or maybe 2015. I can't read the print. The Ecliptic by Benjamin Wood. I bought it when it came out, or shortly after it came out. It's about an artist colony on a Turkish island and various people there. I have done, I think, page 112 tags and various things about it, and also all of a book haul of it's one of her favorite novels. So I don't necessarily always share her tastes, but I was intrigued by that because I haven't heard anybody else talk about it. Anybody out there read this, heard of it? I'm going to be trying it sometime in 2024. And here is an American novel. I believe it's a debut. And I have no idea why I bought it. Somebody talked about it as an anticipated release. Whoever it was enough. It's not that long ago, 2021. It's called Cormorant Lake by Faith Merino. It's quite a nice cover. And it's about generations of women who live without men. I mean, what more do you need to know? Apparently it opens with a woman who steals her roommates, 2 underfed and neglected little girls, from their beds and takes them to her hometown. Haven't heard very many people talk about it. I'm going to be talking about it in some way or other, in some opinion or other, sometime this year. Now, this one is somehow connected to the lovely Peg, the book prize addict. I don't think I bought it because she talked about it. I think I bought it for a different reason, but when she saw my book haul, she said, "Oh, I read that, it's really good," or I can't remember it. Maybe I did find out about it on her channel, but it's a British novel, The Last of the Greenwoods by Clare Morall, 2018, and it's about 2, I think they're quite elderly brothers, who are not on speaking terms, who live in a field outside Birmingham in 2 overground railway carriages. And then a woman shows up claiming to be their niece they've never met from their sister who was murdered decades before. So it does sound intriguing, and it's quite an interesting cover, and I've never heard of Clare Morall other than this, and I think Peg liked it. Peg, weigh in here. Refresh my memory. And here's a first edition Canadian hardback I bought many years ago. It's probably been out in paperback for years. It's a 2020 novel by Lynn Coady, Watching You Without Me. I know Lindy loved this. When she saw my book haul, she said, "Oh, Sean, I just read that. It's so good. Read it soon so we can talk about it." And that was quite a couple years ago. The protagonist goes back to her childhood home in Nova Scotia after 10 years, her mother's sudden death, and becomes a caregiver for her older sister who has a developmental disability. And that sounds fascinating. And Sharon Butala, in one of her mystery guest appearances recently, talked about Lynn Coady's, she won a Canadian Literary Prize that I no longer mention on my channel, and for her short story collection, Hellgoing, and Sharon Butala spoke very highly of that. And I had long had this on my shelf, but that's kind of what prompted me to put it on my books I must read or on haul in 2024 list. So, any predictions? Which ones will I love? Which ones will I bail on? Any thoughts? Let the games begin. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.